Hello friends, today we are going to talk about Rule 48.4 e-invoicing. So from when it is applicable? It is applicable from 1st October 2020. So what are the entities who are covered under this? Entity who is having turnover more than 500 crores. So it's actually PAN based. So what are the entity which is exempted from this purview is a person who are having turnover less than 500 crores, and if they are SEZ, then it is not applicable. So what are the transactions is not covered under e-invoicing? If you are entity doing more than 500 crore turnover and you're sending goods to, you're making a transaction of B2C, then for that particular transaction, e-invoicing is not applicable. Only for it is applicable as of now to B2B. Since it's a phase 1 implementation, only B2B is covered. In maybe in subsequent phase 2 implementation, B2C will also be covered. So as of now, only B2B is covered and imports are not covered in this. And what is the process actually? Till what you do in the normal ERP, the invoicing process is same. Then the same need to be linked to invoice registration portal. So in invoice registration portal, if you link, unique IRN number will be created. That is nothing but invoice reference number. This is 64-digit number, along with which acknowledgement number of 15 digit will be created with a QR code. So what is this, how to reach this invoice registration portal? It can be done through GSP, that is GST Suvidha provider. There are many GSP available. As of now, 10 providers have been authorized, and it can also be done through manual bulk upload. So once you upload the invoices from your system ERP to this invoice registration portal, either manually or through this GSP, this IRN is generated. So the time the IRN is generated, e-waybill part A will also be auto-generated. E-waybill part B can also be generated together with this if you have the detail, or subsequently we can fill the details of part B. So what what is the benefit of this actually? You need not sit at the end of the month giving the details for GSTR1. Once it is routed through this invoice registration portal, your GSTR1 will be automatically reflected. Even if your invoice is cancelled, the same will also be reflected in your GSTR1. In case of any changes you need to do, the same need to be amended in GSTR1. And even GSTR2A will be auto-populated. E-waybill also will be auto-generated. If you give both part A and part B details, e-waybill in full will be developed. In case of if you don't know part B details, part A of e-waybill will be generated. So it also improves the payment cycle. So you can easily generate the invoice, and the invoice reaches the end consumer so quickly, and payment process can be done in a better manner. GST also know what are the sales you are doing in a particular month. So more transparency and business growth will be more. So actually, why they have brought in this is, in case of GST reconciliation, people find more difficulty to reconcile because each organization have a different format. So they have brought up this invoice schema, which is nothing but the common format with which it is machine readable and be easy for reconciliation. All business will be having the same format with some mandatory column and some optional column. If it starts with 0 in that schema, it is optional, and if it is 1 means it's a mandatory field to be filled. The schema will be common for all nature of business, but you need to select according. Some columns will be specific to that business which we need to select. But it will be very easy for GSTR to a reconciliation, since this IRN number is there, which will be a base to do reconciliation, better reconciliation. So I have said about this QR code. So what if you scan this QR code? What are the basic details you can get? Is you can get the GST TIN of the supplier, the recipient, the invoice number, which is unique to each entity, the date, invoice value, the number of line item, HSN code, what is the IRN number, what is the IRN date. These things will be, which can be retrieved from this QR code. So once this IRN number is generated, the it can be cancelled only within 24 hours. If IRN is generated and e-way bill is also live, which means the truck started moving, means then you can't cancel the IRN. First e-way bill need to be cancelled and then only IRN can be cancelled. So how this IRN number is generated? Actually, it is a combo of GST tin, invoice number, document type, which is nothing but whether it's a normal regular invoice or credit note or debit note, that denotes the document type, and the date. All these combo together will form this 64-digit IRN number. Actually, for each invoice, only one IRN number can be generated. So duplication is not at all possible. For example, if you receive RCM services such as legal services or GTA services from a person whose turnover is more than 500 crores, then the service receiver is only liable to do e-invoicing. In this RCM cases, unregistered person will not come under this purview, which means if you receive services from an unregistered person and that unregistered person is having more than 500 crores, then you need not do e-invoicing. That is the case. So thank you friends. Hope you like this.